Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about your time management and a strategy if you are going to face this year's main examination. The prelim examination result was published just last evening, and now you have got 80 days at a max before your main examination starts. If you are someone who's going to face the main examination for the first time, this video is going to be very helpful to you. If you have already planned your remaining days up to the main examination, still I will highly urge to go through this video. You will find certain points to add value or add refinement to your existing plan. I'm not saying that you should abandon your existing plan altogether and follow everything that I'm suggesting. But if you do not have a plan already, then you can use this plan as a template to follow from now until your main examination. And if you have a plan, you can make certain refinements in your plan based on what we are going to discuss. I'm going to keep this video short, to the point, and help you directly on how best you can manage your time and resources available from now until the main examination. Now, let us first take a look how many days we have got in our hands. And it turns out that it is already 2nd of July when I'm recording this video, and the main examination is starting on 20th of September. That being the case, you remove today's day and you remove the date of 20th September, and you are left with 78 days in your hands. So 78 days, remove the last 18 days out of this, and then you are left with 60 days clear. The 60 clear days, roughly the months of July and August, is the most important chunk in your preparation. So my first point is that you should be dividing your time into 60 days, that is the month of July and August, and then last 18 days, that is the month of September until the main examination starts. This part is, of course, most important. Why it is most important? Because this is where you will fill the backlog. See, in anybody's preparation, there are moments and there are patches of imperfection. Nobody's preparation progresses in the perfect shape according to the perfect plan. So, even if you have been preparing very sincerely since the day you wrote the prelim, and you have been able to use the last 2 weeks between the prelim and the prelim result, use these last 2 weeks very well, still there will be areas in your preparation. It can be general studies, it can be optional, where you will feel yourself lagging behind. And if you have this sense of lagging behind in certain areas, then the first thing that you should be doing, that you should be making a list of those topics where you are lagging behind, and you should selectively target those areas as early as possible and trying to do them as fast as possible. So these 2 months time will be more than adequate to not only fill the backlog, catch up with the backlog, but also update areas related to paper 2 of GS and paper 3 of GS. These are the two papers of general studies which are most heavily reliant on current issues and their analysis. Most of the candidates commit the mistake of relying solely on compilations. The compilations have hardly proven sufficient to handle the kind of questions which are asked in the main examination. I will be recommending that the compilations serve a good source to take the topics from. And then, based on the topics, you should yourself carry out a little bit of research on the Hindu website, on the Indian Express website, and get a first hand understanding. Because whatever these articles are, whether it is in the Hindu newspaper or it is in Indian Express newspaper, these articles touch so many different dimensions. More often than not, the compilations do not match that level of expanse that is done in the articles. Therefore, even if you have very fast gone through the article that appeared in the original newspaper, taking the topic from the compilation and then checking the topic back in the newspaper on the newspaper website, it could be in the Hindu or Indian Express. what happens that you develop a little more holistic understanding, and that will enable you to handle more questions more comfortably in paper 2 and 3 compared to relying on the compilations alone. This is one reason why a lot of candidates underperform and underscore in GS2 and GS3. You should be not repeating that mistake. You should learn from other people's mistake, and you should be investing some time in doing that. Apart from that, this is the time when you can practice answer writing in both your optional and in papers of GS, and not to mention writing some essays also. So these are at least three major things that you will be able to do in these 60 days. So the ideal split is 60 plus 18 days, and that should see your main preparation progressing nicely in the run up to the main examination. Now, moving next, what are the priority areas that you should be attending to in the first chunk, the bigger chunk of 60 days? Here we go. So the time that is available between the prelim result 2025 and end of August 2025. First and foremost, let me tell you the basic expectation here is that you are putting in about 13 hours of studies every day. This is the crunch moment, and I know 13 hours काफी होता है, but let us challenge ourselves to go as far as we can go. I do not need to tell you the transformative effect of clearing the civil service examination that it will have on your life, your entire course of career and everything. So it is very much worth it. And 13 hours still allows you to have a good restful sleep, uh, also look after yourself physically, and a bit of social connection can also be maintained, even though you are putting in 13 hours a day. So next 60 days, commit to yourself that you are going to put in 13 hours a day. Now, what should ideally be the split of those 13 hours per day? First and foremost, 3 hours plus 1 hour to general studies dynamic topics. What is this 3 plus 1, 3 plus 1, and 3 plus 1? 3 plus 1 means 3 to study and consolidate, and 1 hour to write. And well, when you are writing for 1 hour, your effort should be that in 1 hour's time, you are writing 7 to 8 short notes. If you are not writing at that speed, you are not matching the speed expected by the UPSC. So whenever you are setting aside 1 hour's time to write answers, always target 7 to 8 answers in every given hour. Initially, it can be 6 answers, but within 4 or 5 days, you should be touching 8 answers. Undeniably, you have to recall fast, you have to write fast, and you have to, on the run, while you are writing the answer, organize your thoughts so that you can produce a coherent answer. So wherever I have written 3 plus 1, it means that this last 1 hour is going on writing. Now, what do I mean by GS dynamic topics? All of you who have cleared the prelim examination already know what are the GS dynamic topics, but at the cost of repeating the obvious, let me tell you by GS dynamic topics, I mean Indian polity, governance, in paper 1, social issues, and in paper 2, social justice, in paper 2 again, international relations. Then we have got all the topics of paper 3, that is economy, science and technology, environment, disaster management, and internal security. All of these topics are actually dynamic topics. These are the topics where you will need to update yourself also, apart from mastering the core. Because if you see the split of the questions, approximately half of the questions on economy are kind of directly from the syllabus, with a small hint of current issues. But the other half of the questions on Indian economy or the other half of the questions in Indian polity are invariably from some current issue. And that is where your current issue understanding will be crucially required to write a good answer. Therefore, here you will have to update. How to update? Go through some compilations, and the compilation should give you a fairly good idea what has actually happened. But do not stop there. Rather, you search the same topic on the Hindu website and see what is the best article that you are getting. Give it a quick reading. You may be coming across a number of additional points, a number of additional dimensions. Do jot them down, write on your notepad or write on the very book that is serving as the first source, that is a compilation. So either you can write it on the book itself or you can very well write in your notebook, and that way a topic is done. If you go swiftly with this, in 3 hours time, I would say that every year you will be able to do approximately 6 to 8 topics, and 6 to 8 topics a day done for 60 days is so much that you will not need anything more. But if you do not do this, you will find yourself struggling with nearly half of the questions that are going to be set in these dynamic areas. And there are certain dynamic areas where all the questions are from current. For example, in environment, the questions are invariably from the current issues. Same goes for science and technology. Hardly they ask any traditional question in science and technology. Same, I would say, is the pattern in internal security. Most of the questions in international relations are also on something that has been hogging the limelight in the last 2 years or so. So these dynamic topics every day, 3 hours. I'm sure you must have worked a bit on these dynamic topics up until now, but now is the time to give it a very rigorous treatment. All the topics which were untouched up until now, this is the time to cover them up, right? Cover them nicely. So, well, that is the GS dynamic topics. After that, you go for GS static topics. All the remaining topics in the general studies syllabus, they happen to be GS static. That will mean history, cultural history of India, then geography. In paper 2, I do not see any static topic. In paper 3, I do not see any static topic. But ethics, integrity, and aptitude. But for certain examples that you can quote from whatever has been happening recently, most other things in ethics, integrity, and aptitude are from the syllabus and they can be considered as static. So history, culture, geography, and then ethics, integrity, and aptitude, they will constitute the static areas. But in static areas, I'm going to add another task, that is to write at least 2 essays a week. So from now till end of August, you have got 8 weeks. And if you are writing at least 16 essays, or better still, if you are writing at least 24 essays, and if you are able to show it to someone, get feedback and make improvement, it will be a huge favor that you are going to do to your preparation, because essay and ethics, integrity, and aptitude, these are two such papers where there is a real possibility of scoring in the vicinity of 50%. The same cannot be said about the core general studies paper, paper 1, 2, 3, where you will be hovering. I'm not underestimating anybody's ability and I will be proven wrong. But still, I would say that most of the candidates hover in the range of 40 to 45% of GS 1, 2, and 3 average score. In one of the papers, someone can score very well, but in other paper, the score will dip and the average will be coming somewhere, if you are well prepared, between 40 and 45%. Therefore, here the workload is pretty well defined. It would not take that much time. Therefore, you should be including the essay preparation in here. Okay. So that is again 3 hours of studying and 1 hour of writing. That is 3 plus 1. Next is optional. Lot of students commit the mistake, and this is a big no. This is a big don't do, that you ignore your optional subject. And it is so easy to ignore the optional subject, thinking that there are 4 papers of general studies plus there is essay, so I can ignore my general studies. But the fact is that general studies will give you on an average 40 to 45% score, whereas optional can give you 60% and above. And out of 500, if you are scoring 60% and above, you can easily imagine where your overall main performance is going to reach. So do not ignore your optional subject. Give it 3 hours of solid revision plus 1 hour of writing every day. When you are revising your optional subject for the main examination, look at a topic, keep the themes which have been touched in the last 10 years handy, and on a priority basis, do all those themes. Do not do the exact question, do the theme comprehensively. The same question is least likely to be repeated verbatim, but another question coming from the same theme is having a very high probability. Therefore, if a theme that has been touched in the last 10 years at least once, you have to do that theme very, very thoroughly. But at the same time, you also have to have a broader sense of the rest of the syllabus, because the rest of the syllabus is going to account for at least 50 to, I would say, 55% of the questions. But another 50% question is going to come from the themes that have been touched in the last 10 years. So have a broad idea of the rest of the questions, rest of the topics, but also do the themes which have been touched in the last 10 years very, very deeply, very minutely. And when you are writing answers in the optional subject, the same target has to be applied, that in 1 hour's time, you are writing a minimum of 7 short note type answer. That is the speed the UPSC will require in the main examination in your optional subject. Another thing is that in the optional subject, whenever you are preparing a particular topic, first thing will be to break the topic into question worthy dimensions. There are a lot of topics in the syllabus which have got a single question worthy dimension, but that cannot be said about all other topics. So what you have to do, first and foremost, break the topic into question worthy dimensions, that these are the dimensions in the topic, and then under each dimension have 5 to 10 most relevant points which you can memorize. अच्छे से memorize करके आप जा सकते हो. When you have got such ready to reproduce answer, writing answer in the main examination will become very easy. Therefore, always engineer a topic into dimensions worthy of a question. Under each dimension, compile 5 to 10 points depending on how big a dimension is, and then you remember those points only. If you are doing this to maybe 7 to 8 topics every day, at the end of 60 days, what you will be having is close to 500. Okay? Is between 400 to 500 topics at your disposal, and not more than 500 topics is going to be, going to create a safety cover for you. 500 questions, 500 topics are more than enough to create an impenetrable safety cover for your main examination performance. तो वो तो करना ही करना है, ठीक है ना? So here the speed is the key. Any source is a good source with which you are comfortable. Do not try to add a brand new source at this stage. Up until and unless you are totally unaware of a particular part of your subject. If that is so, you will have to add a new source. But if that is not the case, then what you have to do is to rely on the sources that you are comfortable with, that you have been comfortably working with, and you have to revise and master those sources only. And when you are doing it, do not do it directly from the book, do not do it directly from the notes. Always compile the points under each dimension of each topic. Like I said, a lot of topics are unidimensional, they are the easiest topic to prepare, but there are going to be at least half of the topics in your optional examination syllabus which are multidimensional, and under each dimension you will have to compile 5 to 10 points depending how big or how important that topic is. Go for this approach in the optional subject and write 1 hour every day. And since for the main examination, current issues up until late August are pretty significant, pretty important, therefore 1 hour set aside to keep pace with current issues and their analysis, because without that, you are likely to miss a couple of questions in paper 2 or paper 3. Therefore, 1 hour just to pick up the bigger issues, which have a likelihood of featuring in the main examination, so that you are not losing touch with what is happening parallelly to your main examination preparation. Now, I hope this priority for first 60 days is clear to all of you. Now we move to the last lap. So here is the last lap. By last lap, what I mean is the last 3 weeks up to the time main examination starts. So it starts on 1st of September, and then it, give me a second, it starts on 1st of November, 1st of September, and then it goes until the main examination of 2025. You do not have to increase your study hours beyond 13 hours. If it is proving to be too daunting, you can go for 12 hours, but consistency is the key. Even if you are doing 12, try to do the things faster, try to fit all these things within 12 hours only. But there has to be no day when you spend the entire day resting and recovering. You cannot afford that kind of rest and recovery at this stage of your civil service examination journey. So be very, very prompt with this habit of showing up on daily basis. Now here, your goal is something that I cannot define. You have to basically go for writing based recall based on your needs. First and foremost, what you have to do here is to identify the topics where you have a tendency to forget the things, and then you write those things. Try and spend at least 6 to 7 hours on this every day. 6 to 7 hours of incessant writing, because remember, in the main examination, you are going to write 6 hours within a single day. First sitting 3 hours, second sitting 3 hours. So that kind of writing for 6 hours in a day is a habit that you need to build, and you have to build the habit of not getting fatigued. बहुत लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा fatigue होती है, खास तौर पे first timers को. So now you have to write 6 to 7 hours every day, and write those topics which are more likely to be forgotten by you. And you know it very well, which are the topics which are pretty volatile for you. Write them down. Writing is most powerful form of your revision. Most powerful form of your revision. And despite your best efforts, there will be certain lagging topics. Still, there will be certain lagging topics. So if there is any lagging topic, spend the next 4 5 hours on those lagging topics. Now, one thing that I would like to tell you here, that if you do not have lagging topics, suppose you are writing the main examination for the second time and you really do not have any lagging topic, great. You can use this time to revise the things well, consolidate the things well, and last but not the least, practice some more essays. Because again, essay is a very, very scoring paper, so practice some more essays. That is how your time division should look like. That is how in these two phases your priority should be adjusted. In the beginning, I said that if you are already having a plan, based on the inputs of this discussion, you can fine tune your own plan. Most of the candidates commit this mistake of underestimating the need to do optional. I hope you are not among them. Most of the candidates underestimate the need to structure the topic into dimensions and compile topics afresh. They make a presumption कि हम नोट से directly पढ़ सकते हैं. That is a very less efficient way to write consolidated answers and recall the things faster. Please do not do that either. And last but not the least, you should not be committing the mistake of ignoring the current dimension of the dynamic part by doing only it from the compilation. Last 5 years experience tells us that only the compilations have not proven to be enough. Even if you quickly read newspaper and compile certain points, you get a broader view of the topic, and the kind of questions which are asked in the main examination, they become relatively easier to handle, and if you handle them well, your score will also be increasing proportionately. And finally, needless to say, in this entire journey, you have to look after yourself very well. That will basically mean you have to look after your nutrition, you have to look after your sleep, and you have to look after your social connections. Social connections and sleep are very important to keep you rejuvenated, keep you always ready for the rigorous task that is up ahead of you. And at the same time, good nourishment will keep you in a physically fit form to take the challenge physically also very, very well. In case of any suggestion, any help that you need from my side, the contact details are given in the description. Please feel free to reach out to me and I will do my best to help you for your main examination preparation. That is all in this video. I hope you found something meaningful in this video. I will see you around very soon. Goodbye and good luck for your main examination.